Hello and welcome to the Innerloop podcast. Oh my God, we got a good one in store today. We're of course joined as always by Michael Colón, Innerloop blog creator. And today our special guest is none other than Jonathan Broida. God damn it, John. How do I say your last name? Broida? Broida.
That's it.
I put a little stank on it.
It's okay.
Broida.
Nothing wrong with a little flavor.
It sounds like Broida to me sounds like the type of like recreation ball you'd use in like gym class. You know, it's the off-brand version. That's the gator skin one that everybody took a bite out of.
Yeah. Coincidentally, I was also called Broida a lot in gym class while dodgeballs were being thrown at me.
Perfect. John's got a new camera. He's looking great. We see his artwork now. He's got some Einstein in the background, so you know he's smart as fuck. Michael, it looks like he is squatting and somebody has a nicer house. Like,
I'm house sitting for my girlfriend.
yeah, dude. You should just move in with her. That is a serious upgrade. You went from a blank wall.
Some basil. Got some basil right there.
Like you went from just a blank wall with some trash in the background to now you look like you're on the fucking Food Network. Like that's incredible. You need to marry.
Appreciate the shout out.
You got to marry that woman ASAP. At the top of the podcast, you heard a song from the band White Tides. The song is Lost. If you would like to have your band featured here on the podcast, hit us up at theinnerloopblog@gmail.com. We'll send you the link to how you can get situated on that, and we'll make sure you get a plug. We're trying to support local artists. Also, it helps if your music isn't on Spotify already, because what we're finding out is if your band is on there, they will flag us on YouTube and Facebook and say that your music is copyrighted. And, you know, even though you have sent it to us, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, just send us an email if you're a local band and you want to get featured on this here show. Also, before we get into things, real quick plug, patreon.com/Innerloop. This podcast in particular is the first time we're going to be doing this. We're going to do one half of the show on the free side of the podcast, and then we're going to flip over and do it on Patreon only. So if you want to hear the rest of this podcast and the rest of them moving forward, you got to go to patreon.com/Innerloop. It's $5 a month. You support the blog, you get the podcast. So let's get right into it. First of all, God damn it, boys, we did it. We didn't make CNN this week, not this year.
All damn time.
Got a little too excited. We definitely made CNN this year multiple times. Just want to say that. But no RPD stories this week, which means that we'll probably be hearing about something that happened this week in a few months, and it's going to be fucking terrible, right? It definitely did something. It's not like they just sat on their hands this week, okay? But RPD, not in this podcast. So all you people with thin blue line profile pictures, this is the podcast to tune into for the Innerloop. So welcome aboard. Biggest story this week. It is Rochester news, so it had to be a tragedy. Biggest news this week was 2 teenagers charged with second-degree murder for lighting a man on fire. 53-year-old man, they doused him with ignitable liquid, lit him on fire. There's been conflicting stories between the 2 teenagers. The man passed away. It's a terrible story. We're not going to joke about that because we want to continue being a blog. So I guess I just wanted to set that scene, right? Because now that we have set that, we can, as Innerloop writers, talk about our teenage years, and we can say basically anything that we regret, and it will not be as bad as what those kids did. Unless you guys are about to tell me the thing you regret most about being a teenager is you killed a man. Which, by the way, if you did, please say it on the podcast. We need the ratings. Okay? We're floundering here. We're losing to whatever Kimberly's doing with real estate guys. Okay.
Oh, no.
So yeah, we need the rating. So if you guys actually could go back in time and possibly do some more crime as a teenager, but I'm going to kick it over to Michael first. I just want to make this a conversation about stuff you regret as a teenager. We know that Michael did not grow up here in Rochester. He is from the Jello capital of the world. So maybe he has some more interesting things related to Jello that he regrets. But we'll start. Michael, give me your like top 3 regrets as a teenager, if they're, or maybe just like your number one, however you want to work with.
Oh no, I got 3. I think the first one is buying a limited edition Zune. I regret that a lot. Zune did not go on to be a profitable investment, if anyone remembers it.
I do.
So with your own money?
Yeah, like I had a little job. I worked at Red Osier for a while.
Ooh, you had that beef money?
Yeah,
Damn.
that roast beef in the jus.
Baby.
Oh, you were a dishwasher there.
The rib carver. Well, I was dishwasher, and then I became a rib carver, so it was quite the upgrade.
Yeah, that's quite the leap, huh?
Fancy. Yeah, I don't know. So that was definitely my number one regret, because I think like Zune only lasted like legitimately one version, and then an iPod came out, and our iPod was already out and took over. So that was like $300 on the drain. Second was trying to win a dance competition at the local dance. Was definitely one of the most embarrassing moments in my life.
The local dance. You realize
very quickly. There used to be local dances at the dance.
What?
Local dance.
Remind everybody where you grew up, because now it sounds like you grew up in like the deep south in the 20s.
I grew up in Leroy. Like it's rough out there.
So Leroy, you went to the local dance and there was a competition. All right, go ahead.
And then I would say the last regret is I mooned a cop in front of my house when I was, 3 of my friends, including myself, mooned a cop in front of our house when I was 16.
Did anything happen with that?
The cop turned around. He came in. We all ran into the woods behind my house to hide, and my poor father was outside grilling, and the cop like went up on the deck and started yelling at my dad, and my dad told him that he lived there, and the cop didn't believe him. And it became like this whole thing. There's probably racism involved with that story, but I'll try to keep it very friendly.
Got it.
But that's what happened.
But so you didn't get arrested?
No, we didn't. We were like, I don't know, 15, 16.
Okay.
They just yelled at us. But yeah, that was definitely regret. My parents were not happy for a long time after that.
So what did your dance moves, right? That you didn't win this competition, right?
Dude, you want to see him?
Sure, we'll see him. Yeah.
I just remember, dude, I was like 12 or 13, and what they did is they had this giant box in the middle of the tennis courts is where the dances would be, and they had lights, and a person would jump on the box, and they would dance, and then another person. I got up there, and I just started doing this.
Oh no! For the podcast listeners, Mike went full John Travolta.
I didn't know what else to do. It felt like, if I can't, like I'd better not just stay still, even though, I think now doing stand-up comedy, it was meant to be just knowing the pain of social embarrassment and bombing.
So your school had a dance box that you would jump. They would cycle through children on the dance box. All right. Weird town. It's a good thing you got out of there, Michael. You got all that beef money. You got out. John, first, like before you say what you regret, where did you grow up? Because I'm not actually sure.
So I technically grew up in the town of Brighton. However, I went to Penfield School District. So I was in one of those weird zones, kind of like, I don't know, just a weird division. But so about that. So at our elementary school, when we were teenagers, we used to go hang out on the playground at night, and we get in like rock wars with each other. So like there's all these rocks in the playground. We start throwing hard fucking rocks at each other. And I was like, I think I really regret that, because I probably hurt some kid pretty bad with a fucking stone in the forehead, So it seems like a pretty shitty, stupid thing to do.
Rock wars. Amazing.
Yeah. Did you guys ever have any rock wars?
People.
Yeah, you stone people.
You guys commit low-level crimes as a child.
That's great.
People.
And then a little bit darker, A little bit darker.
Darker. Let's go darker. Yeah. Besides, like killing people with rocks. Yeah, let's go
darker than stoning. Buying a studded bracelet from Hot Topic and wearing it publicly.
That is dark.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
It's a good thing you didn't throw that. That the spiked chains and shit. Like those belts from back in our day. Those the metal on them, like you could do some damage with those.
Yeah,
it's a good thing those didn't stick around because now that millennials are becoming parents and they were trying to discipline their kids with those studded belts that we grew up with. Yikes!
Yeah,
really hurting some kids. So I'm glad that you grew up in the book The Lottery. That's exciting. So I live in Penfield now. So I guess is this how Penfield is? Like, do I have to wait for somebody to stone me to death? Should I be careful?
You should be very careful walking down your street. It's highly likely that there will be some children throwing stones at you.
Rock
for sure.
Wars. That's badass.
Yeah, man. You don't fuck around in B-Town.
So I was trying to think. I don't think I got into much that much mischief. Like as far as like criminal type of offenses, probably the worst thing I was doing was copious amounts of downloading illegal music on my parents' AOL connection, and
nice.
That was probably terrible. But I didn't hurt anybody specifically. Mine is more like blundery type of regrets, where I was like an emo kid. I was pretending to be like this stoner skater guy, but I was not coordinated enough to skateboard, and also I was not good at smoking weed. I would just get super paranoid every single time I smoked, and then I just would tell everybody at a party that they hate me. It wasn't fun. Not a fun time. As far as like looks, like sticking on the looks thing, I regret letting a girl cut my hair. My girlfriend at the time cut my hair senior year, like the week before I had my senior pictures done for the yearbook forever. She ended up coming out as a lesbian not too later on, and it makes sense because she gave me the biggest Ellen haircut, like insane. Like she's like, yeah, I want to make you look like what I'm really into. I'm like, okay, let's go for it. And like, yeah. So I have those senior pictures out forever. So that's
your senior year, you became a lesbian.
Yeah, basically. But that's about it. Like that's. And so that and now that we've established that as a teenager, as long as you don't light a man on fire and kill him, you're gonna be okay. This is a thing to all Rochester teenagers that happen to be listening to the podcast right now. Just don't light somebody on fire, and it gets better, right?
Yeah.
Mike danced on a box. John killed a guy with a rock or whatever, and I had
wars.
I had a lesbian haircut.
You thought you had a bet in Leroy with your dancing squares, but
I know.
God, we're throwing rocks at each other.
The local dance, the local Leroy dance. If anybody from Leroy is listening to this and is in charge of the local dance, I'll DJ it for free. I'm offering my services. I will come out there. I want to see this dance box like this. I think we need to combine these two things. Get the dance box going, and if anybody sucks at dancing as much as Michael does, we stone him down. You got it.
I love it.
All right, so that's the free portion of the podcast. We are going to be talking about the Rochester Video Game Hall of Fame and the finalists that they have going on that are currently getting voted on. If you want to hear about that, you're going to have to go to patreon.com/Innerloop. We'll be chatting about those. To all the free folks, we bid you adieu, and we'll watch out for stones.
What?